So lovely to see everyone. Rob, can you give me a thumbs up if my volume is okay? Good, great. So I've really enjoyed seeing all your faces across the screen, and quite a number of you I think I've worked with. I believe so anyway. And so we've got another minute to go, but just to say that I'm so impressed with your retreat. There's nothing like this happening in the UK. We have the odd teaching, you know, the odd guided meditation, but we don't have something ongoing in the way that you have for now nearly a year, which is wonderful, fantastic. So hats off to you all. And I'm in the middle of training a group of trainers, of See True trainers, and I'm just seeing if I can see any of them. I don't see them at the moment, but hopefully they'll some of them will appear. There's a third screen, so maybe some of them are there. Yes, I think they are. Okay, so what I'm planning to do, which I think is what normally happens with you, is to guide a practice and then speak a little bit about the practice. So I'm sharing with you a very precious practice of mine that I've kind of garnered from a number of different places. And so I'll guide the practice that I'm going to talk to you about. I'll guide it at the beginning and then leave some space for everybody to practice in their own way. And then about 25 minutes or so from the end, I'll just talk you through the practice that I've guided you and explain some of the elements to it that I find very interesting. Yeah. Okay, so sipping tea is very much allowed, encouraged. And when you're ready, just coming to take your seat. And even though this is not your first language, taking your seat and noticing what this offers you to take your seat. And if you haven't already, really inviting the first point of this practice that I'm sharing with you, inviting a moving down to the base of the body, to the foundations, if you like, to your feet, contact with the floor, perhaps the sides of your legs if you're sitting on a cushion or a stool, and to your sit bones themselves, to your buttocks, to the seat of the body connecting with the seat of the chair or the cushion. So as best you can, really landing into a sense of contact between the body and what is supporting the body. All the points of contact. And also noticing what it is that's supporting you, the texture of the floor, of the seat, the solid that is holding. And then if you'd like to, just getting that sense of weight going down, that sense of relating, connecting to the floor beneath, and ultimately the ground that supports us. Weight going down. And remembering as I guide you that if I guide some aspect of this practice that you don't want to follow, then please don't. Do whatever is right for you. So now moving to the second point of this practice, And this is where we trace the height going up. Really noticing from the very base of the spine, this lift of spine up through the pelvis. This quite miraculous spine that makes its way up through the middle of the back. Up past the shoulder blades. And up to pause at the shoulders themselves. This kind of crossroads of spine. Spine and shoulders balancing. And then if you'd like to, moving up into the neck, which is the extension of spine. And perhaps tucking the chin very slightly, just to get that sense of extension, alignment. And then through the middle of the head to the top of the back of the crown of the head. The tallest point of the body. Height going up. Sitting with a sense of presence and with a sense of dignity. And then if you'd like to, just extending awareness up to the space above the head. To this spacious awareness, this spacious possibility. So that we can connect these two points together, the weight going down, the height going up, with this sense of balance, balancing with the earth beneath, and ultimately the sky above. And then if you'd like to, coming to the third position of this practice. And this is a possibility of strong back. So the back itself holding qualities of courage, qualities of commitment and confidence. Confidence in the practice itself. And also confidence in whatever intention you choose to place here on the back. So if you'd like to, just forming an intention for this practice, for the rest of your day. And placing it in strong back. And then when you're ready, moving to the fourth position of this practice. And this is possibility of soft front. So balancing with strong back, soft front that holds qualities of friendliness, openness, qualities of compassion and kindness, and also of sensitivity, vulnerability. So choosing your own qualities that you would like to place into soft front. So rooted and grounded. tall and dignified, strong back, soft front. And then finally, and at last, we find the breath deep in the body. Or if it's better for you, perhaps another anchor, perhaps the feet on the floor or the hands in the lap, if that suits you better today. Whatever you choose as your anchor into this present moment. Your anchor to come back to over and over. Where is your mind? If you find there's a drift away from your practice, just remembering it's not a problem. It's just simply what minds do. So reforming your intention to come back, coming back to your breath or your chosen anchor, maybe coming back to these 4 positions, weight going down, height going up, strong back, soft front. So as we move towards the end of this part of the practice, just inviting you to come into the body, inviting you to connect with the mind, inviting you to touch into the heart. And perhaps just noticing whatever is there. Body, mind, heart. Perhaps offering slightly different textures, but perhaps with some common theme, or maybe not. Now, if you'd like to, just beginning to move and stretch. Maybe standing, maybe taking a couple of minutes or so just to ease out the body. Having some yawns. I see we have some very young practitioners with us today. Just a year old, a year and a day. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, so I just want to get a book off my shelf. I thought I'd just share with you. I haven't ever actually shared this practice before, except as a guiding. But I'm liking it more and more, even though I've been guiding it for, gosh, I don't know, several years probably. So I thought it, you know, I find it helpful. I thought it might be good to just share it with you and see where you take it, because I find that the more I think about it, the more possibility it has. So I would love to hear from you. I'll put my email into the chat before I finish, and I'd love to hear from you whenever, you know, if it's growing for you and if you're getting some ideas around it. So let me just talk you through these 5, I don't know, I call them points, maybe positions. And let's see where we go with it. Yeah. Okay, so the first one is weight going down. I think it's really important that we start there. So I think it's really important that we start at a place of grounding. I was teaching around this yesterday, I think, and just to say that I live on a building site. I mean, I've actually got a finished house, but around me, there are lots of houses being built. And I just often notice that, you know, you never start building a house from the roof. You always start from the ground. And it's so obvious, but it's actually really helpful that we can't really do much up here unless we actually have our feet on the earth, our bum on the seat, you know, whatever it is, unless we're embodied. That's I think one of the key things around being embodied. So there's something for me about weight going down. So it's not just about earth and body sort of sitting on the earth. It's also about a sense of gravity sort of pulling us downwards, bringing us closer to the ground. And actually, when I really think about that, and I really think about that sense of sort of rootedness, you know, almost, you know, trees have wonderful roots and plants that go into the ground. We actually don't. It's almost like we've lost our roots. You know, most of us are not that embodied. I don't feel I'm much more embodied than I was, but I still can increase my embodiment all the time. So there's something about the preciousness of the ground beneath us, you know, that I always think that actually the Netherlands knows that better than many countries, better than many people. You know, you always inspire me when I come over and teach in the Netherlands. You know, the recycling, the bicycles that you use, you know, the focus that you put on doing your best to look after the planet. So that to me really reminds me of that, you know, weight going down. What is my relationship to the ground? You know, what am I doing in my garden? All that, you know. So I was thinking, yeah, I was thinking about this, and I was thinking of Yvonne, who's, I know, with us here. And I know, Yvonne, you're very keen on elements. So I kind of included some elements into this practice. And of course, this is the element of earth. This is the element of earth. This is the element of stability and solidity and coming back, you know, and sort of developing a much more grounded, stable base. Yeah. So that's really the first one. Just seeing if there's anything else that the only thing I haven't mentioned is just reminding ourselves of our dependence on the earth. You know, it's really important. So we can bring that into our practice. So that's the first point. The second one was height going up. So I see this almost as north and south, but actually I'm not sure that north is down into the ground and south is up into the sky. So I'm not sure that quite works. But height going up is this wonderful business of standing tall. It's of really, really experiencing a sense of dignity, a sense of presence. You know, I've got a gorgeous dog. I'm sure many of you have got dogs or cats, you know, and they're fantastic. And they're four-legged creatures, and they're much closer to the ground. They have their own dignity, but they don't have the dignity of being able to walk on 2 legs and being able to stand tall. Again, I lived in Africa, South Africa, for quite a bit, way back, 20 years ago. And when I came home, people said that my posture was different. And I was very intrigued by that. And I actually lived in villages in rural area in South Africa um, where the women carried everything on their heads. So they were tremendously, I mean, their posture and their elevation was extraordinary. And somehow just being with them, I never learned to carry stuff on my head, but just being with them, somehow that mirrored, somehow apparently I was standing taller. No more, but then I was, you know. So it's very interesting. So height going up. So again, it's not just a question of that sense of tallness. It's that movement of the spine up through the pelvis, out of the pelvis, up through the back. And you know, the Americans, don't they have a term that they say, you know, I'm at your back or something. What is it? What, I have your back. That's the expression they use, which I think is fairly ugly, but I think it sort of speaks of something like the sort of backbone, the sort of resolve that the back in a way embodies. You know, this sense of not to worry, I know people have to go, but thanks for the message. Yeah, this sense of resolve, of commitment, you know, which goodness you're showing with this retreat. The commitment that we have as parents, that we have as teachers, the homeschooling that so many of you are doing, huge commitment, absolutely massive. The commitment that we have as mindfulness teachers. And there's also, for me, qualities around this as sort of just noticing what's above the head. So above the head is that space of sky. And that's, sorry, I got a frog. So that sense of spaciousness, that spacious awareness gives us a sort of open focus. We're very quick to come back to ourselves. You know, we're very inevitably, we're very focused, but in our culture, in our European, hear me say European culture, we all the time refer back to ourselves, the self. And for me, that sense of spaciousness gives me a possibility of looking out, looking at the context, looking at what's happening around me, seeing all the little people. I live in this eco estate where lots of little people on their scooters with their little dinosaur bike helmets. Love it, absolutely love it. And actually seeing you on my screen, you know, seeing all of you here, you know, and it's really important that we go outside and we look at our context and we look at what's around us, and we have this inclusion to others. So a number of you have to leave, but I believe this will be recorded, so it is being recorded, so you can get it that way. So height going up, spaciousness, sky, big picture, context. I'm reading a book at the moment that's talking about cathedral thinking, which I'm finding very inspiring. That idea that people built cathedrals, you know, they stonemasons, you know, kind of carved the stone, and they contributed to the building of this beautiful building, but actually they never saw it finished, and nor did their children, nor did their children's children. Isn't there a cathedral in Barcelona that started back in the 1500s and actually isn't still finished, you know? What do we do that actually will carry on way past our lifespan, apart from our children? You know, this idea of seventh generation thinking. So just this idea of spaciousness, of big picture, of context. So weight going down, height going up. And then we come to the back, the strong back. So I was mentioning that before about the spine, but the strong back is holding qualities of strength, but not so much sort of physical strength, but actually kind of intentional strength. So I like very much, you know, connecting with intention and connecting with this question that is so straightforward actually and so common, but so profound, I think. And that's this question of what is it that really matters to me? You know, what is it that really matters to you? I remember I work quite a bit with people with cancer, and I remember working with this wonderful, wonderful woman, beautiful, beautiful woman who was dying. And I worked with her for the last the last few weeks of her life, actually, on Skype. It was sort of before Zoom was so popular. And I remember asking her, you know, what is it that really matters to you? And she said she had so much that really mattered to her that she had to put them into sort of groups. And one of the groups was nature. And one of the groups, and into nature came this beautiful walnut tree that was in her garden that she could see from her bathroom. And right up until a couple of days, or 3 days, I think, before she died, she would have one of her key practices of going into the bathroom, looking out the window and seeing her walnut tree. And what was interesting, as it always is with metaphor, is that this was quite a mature walnut tree, and it had branches that really spread out, was really kind of holding sort of tree, almost like an umbrella. And it obviously offered her much comfort, actually. You know, what really matters to me, this walnut tree matters to me. It's going to be there after I go. And I found that very moving, very, very moving. So just this sense of strong back, and, you know, really putting your own qualities into that strong back. You don't have to put my qualities in. You know, what for you sort of links with this idea of backbone and strong and intentional. I think that's really important to put that into your back. And then we have the balance with soft front. And soft front, of course, you know, the front is much more vulnerable than the back. You know, the back has all that sort of structure and spine and shoulders and stuff. The soft is, you know, much more vulnerable, much softer. So again, thinking of qualities that you might put in that are softer. You know, maybe for me, these are qualities of befriending, being friendly. These are qualities of metta and compassion, of karuna. Anukampa, I don't know if any of you know this, Anukampa, you know, is the Buddhist part of compassion, which I think is very precious, which Anukampa is the heart trembling in the face of suffering. So we can't take action to be compassionate until this heart has trembled. And there is so much to make the heart tremble just now, isn't there? You know, our children not at school. You know, our old people dying, our people who've been bereaved and not been able to say goodbye. So much to make the heart tremble. So this soft front, you know, really connecting with the qualities for you that represent befriending and vulnerability and compassion, or the words that resonate for you much better. Yeah. And am I okay, Rob? I'm going to finish at 1 o'clock. Is that all right? You usually finish at 1:45, do you? Yeah. Okay. It doesn't matter. I won't be too much longer. Okay. And so we have weight going down, we have height going up, we have the element of earth at the bottom, we have the element of space at the top, the sky. And then in terms of the strong back, I was thinking probably the element of wind, and I'm not sure why, except this sort of links with movement and with some connection around recognition. But that's maybe my personal thing. You can put your own element there. And then the front, the soft front, for me is definitely the element of water. So water that goes where it's needed, you know, that finds its channel, that actually wears through rock. Yeah. So also remembering with those four to balance. So the spaciousness needs the balance of the firmness. So the weight going down and the height going up are good balancing. And then the strong back and soft front. The strong back on its own would be too tough. The soft front is needed to sort of mediate the strong back. Okay. And then of course the last point is the breath, or the anchor, whatever your anchor is. Many of us choose to go with the breath, but actually sometimes an anchor of the feet on the ground or the hands in the lap are a better anchor for some of us, or maybe even sounds. Yeah, so just sharing that with you, and strong back, soft front, just dropped on the floor, never mind. Strong back, soft front, I got from Joan Halifax. which is a very beautiful book, quite a tough book, Being with Dying. But Joan Halifax is a Zen master in South Mexico, I think, you know, way down in the south of America, and she writes some beautiful books. So I very much want to acknowledge the strong back, soft front comes from her. But, you know, you make it what you'd like to. You make it yourself. And just keep balancing, you know, and just to say to those of you who teach mindfulness, which I'm sure there are many of you, this is a very nice practice to do before you start teaching. You don't have to spend half an hour doing it. You know, you can do this and just landing into weight going down. And then just moving up into a possibility of height going up. So I think we'll finish with that. I think we'll just finish with that. So, you know, don't move your position. Just sit where you're sitting now, holding your knees, whatever it is. It's lovely standing up if you want to. And just in your own way, just connecting with this sense of weight going down, rooted and grounded. And then moving to height going up, dignified, spacious awareness. Body balanced with the earth beneath and the sky above. And then adding possibility of strong back, intention, and soft front, kindness. And then when you're ready, finding the breath deep in the body. Whatever anchor you choose to use to come back to. Okay, thanks so much. It's been great to be with you.